Very good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. Today, my dear friends, we are going to understand about emotional abundance and end it with the physical symptoms of abundance. So, we are going to cover two things, emotional abundance and physical abundance today. Okay, so now we delve deeper into our emotions and what is emotional abundance. These is emotional abundance, my dear friends. The 12 mental treasures that we have, learned yesterday, or the sources of abundance, express themselves as 12 emotional virtues and which become prosperity potentials later on the physical plane. So what we have learned yesterday, the 12 mental treasures will turn eventually into emotional treasures and then slowly into physical treasures. So these are the 12 emotional treasures, my dear friends. If you might like to take a screenshot of this, please, more than welcome. This is what you need to have. These are the virtues that you need to cultivate in order to have emotional abundance, my dear friends. This will anyway be posted on the group as well. So just in case if you want to take it way ahead so that you can refer to it every now and then, you can take this. 12 virtues for emotional abundance, my dear friends. So emotional abundance is the closest to source of physical abundance, my dear friends. And no one can be truly rich on the physical plane if he has no riches on the emotional plane. So now we are going to understand about all the 12 virtues, emotional virtues for abundance, to become abundant, to be abundant. The first one is optimism. And optimism is a blessing, a rare gift which illuminates the heart and mind and makes a person magnetic to benevolent forces. Are we being optimistic or not? Or are we being pessimistic? That is what is more important when we want to be abundant. When the situation comes, we might say, oh, this might not happen because of that. This will not happen because it never happened in the past. So these are the belief systems that we need to work with when we have to work with optimism. See everything positively. See everything in a new way, in a new perspective. And that eye will be brought to you by your spiritual treasures and your mental treasures. Your eye will change in your emotions when you develop or cultivate your virtues spiritually and mentally. So optimism, my dear friends, it's very, very, very important. When you want to see how optimistic you are, watch your words, watch your thoughts. And that is when you will realize whether your words and thoughts or acts are optimistic or pessimistic. Replace can't with can. Replace want with will. Replace no with yes. So that is how you cultivate optimism in your life. Say yes. Why not? Say why not. Instead of saying why, you can say why not. So that is how you can bring optimism into your life. And the second point is quietness. And quietness makes a person close to subjective service. Quietness is calmness in your emotions, my dear friends. Not being verbally quiet. In your calmness in your emotions, stability in your emotions, balance in your emotions, equilibrium in your emotions. That is when you get close to your subjective servers. We are 70% water, my dear friends, in our body. And our waters are nothing but our emotions. And we all know that whenever the full moon is there, water gets affected in our body. The sun and the moon influence our emotions, my dear friends. When the sun is out, our emotional body can be stable, can get stability. But when the moon is there, where especially when the full moon is there, it really affects our emotions a lot. The turbulences will happen. We don't know what is happening with us. Our emotions are completely on the rise, just like the waves of the sea or the ocean are on the rise. That is why it's really very important to understand our emotions and how to keep them calm. Not control them, not train them, not deal them, but how to master them. How to master our emotions and how to find a way to keep ourselves calm emotionally, how to keep the waters calm in us, balanced in us. That is called as quietness, my dear friends. Quietness is nothing but calmness. And then we come to kindness. Kindness opens the path of the heart. Kindness starts with yourself first. Are you being kind to yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Do you give space and freedom to yourself to learn and to do mistakes and to again learn from that? Do you give opportunities to yourself? Are you being kind and compassionate towards yourself? Do you give yourself the same amount of chances that you give to others? Are you kind to yourself when you are feeling ashamed or you are feeling guilty for yourself? Be kind to yourself just as you would be kind to another person. And now, when you are started being kind to yourself, start now by being kind to others as well. In your speech, in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your actions, and everything. Start being kind to others as well. Once you have achieved or cultivated kindness towards yourself, now it is the time for us to show kindness towards others. And the next level of kindness goes towards animals. Let's be kind to animals and be non-violent towards any animal. And then the kindness will spread for the whole Mother Earth. And then the whole universe. So kindness is a step-by-step process, and there's no end to being kindness. Your heart is so big, my dear friends, that everyone is included in your kindness. Just like the sun. A sun is very kind. The moon is very kind. It shines its light on everyone, irrespective of anything. So kindness, my dear friends, kindness is very, very important that you cultivate. You don't develop that. You cultivate it by first being kind to yourself and knowing what is kindness. And then you be kind to others. How can you be kind to others when you are being patient, when you are being understanding? When you understand yourself, then you will definitely understand others, because there are no others. You are me, I am you. When both are one, then what I need is what you need. So let's be kind to each other. Everybody wants love and respect and compassion and kindness. So what I need, what I want is nothing different from what you need or what you want, isn't it? Because I'm a human being, you're a human being. And there's an animal whose heart is beating. So you would be kind to everyone and every living being, isn't it? And then we talk about aspiration, my dear friends. Aspiration, devotion, and dedication open the gates for greater ideas and visions. You aspire to be something. You aspire to become something. And therefore you dedicate yourselves and devote yourselves for that purpose. For that great idea and vision that you have cultivated through your mental treasure. That creativity comes from above when you do meditation. And that opens up your horizons and you get those greater visions. And that is how you aspire to be something in the future. Aspiration is the fire of your emotional body, my dear friends. When you aspire something, for example, I aspire to be a Buddha, then how do you dedicate yourself? How do you devote yourself to open the gates of those thick energies, those atmic energies, to achieve greater visions, to get greater ideas? How do you open up your mind? How do you open up yourself? How do you aspire yourself to be that which you want to be? Let us understand the first one that we have learned. Are we havers, are we doers, or are we beers? Being something is very, very important rather than having or doing, my dear friends. So that is what we need to focus on. And let's aspire to be rather than have or do. Aspiration, my dear friends. That is where we need to dedicate and devote ourselves to the energies that come from above, the higher worlds. And the next one is lovingness. Lovingness creates trust and the sense of unity. How? Lovingness as kindness should start from you. Self-love. Love yourself completely. Accept yourself completely. That lovingness should start from you. Do you love yourself? For the entirety of you, for the whole of you, as you are, who you are, where you are, do you love yourself? That is the first exercise for today, my dear friends. Do you love yourself? Because lovingness starts with you. Start loving yourself. If you have not yet started, not just by saying I love you to yourself, but actually meaning it. You mean those words of I love you. And what is love? Love is nothing but friendship, as Patriji says. You are being a friend to yourself, understanding with yourself. And you express that lovingness for yourself. And then extend that lovingness, extend that friendship with each and every one that you meet. Each and every one that you meet. Each and every animal that you interact with. Show your lovingness, show your care for yourself and for everyone. Can't we do that? Yes, we can. Of course we can. So let's practice this and let's really, really, really mean it. It's not that I'm just saying that, Deepika, I love you. No, I have to really mean it. There should be meaning in love. There should be meaning in friendship. So that is when lovingness will manifest. I can't say, I love only Deepika and not Manusha. You need to be like the sun. You should not get emotions get the better of you. That is why we need to cultivate all these virtues of emotions, of the emotional body. We need to rise above our likes and dislikes and be inclusive and loving to everyone. If we are being our likes and dislikes, then we are in the lower emotional body. We need to rise up and become our higher emotional body. Astral body and emotional body are the same, my dear friends. Emotional body is called when our emotions are unorganized or disorganized. When your emotions are organized or, very well said, then that is called as the astral body. So try to understand whether you have an astral body or an emotional body. If your emotions are organized, then it's called an astral body. If your emotions are disorganized, unorganized, it is called as emotional body. That is the second exercise for you. Are your emotions organized or unorganized? So that is what we need to understand about ourselves. And be loving to everyone that we meet and we know, and even whom we do not know. And then we come to fearlessness. Fearlessness wipes away all obstacles which distort the harmony in a person and keeps away the enemies of success. Are we truly fearless? Did we win over fear? Fear of ourselves, fear of others, fear of money, fear of death, fear of situations, fear of our past, fear of our experiences, fear of the future, fear of our relationships, fear of our career. There are so many things that we fear about, isn't it? When you become fearless, you become emotionally abundant, and that will flow through to your physical reality. When you become fearless, it will clear away all the blocks, emotional blocks, all the obstacles that are there in your emotions. And whatever is against your success will go away if you become fearless. And the second exercise for today is write down about your fears. What are your fears? And work on them. Start working on them. The best way to work on your fears is facing it. Looking into the eyes of the fear, straightly into the eyes of the fear, and say that I am not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. I'm not afraid. Not anymore. So that is when, when you become fearless, that is when all your emotional blocks will go away. The next one is adaptability. Adaptability is the power of intelligence. And an intelligent person adapts himself to certain situations and conditions of nature in order to survive. And how does one become intelligent? Through your mental treasures. When you cultivate the intellectual abilities, intelligent abilities in your mental treasures, then you start being adaptable to each and every situation in your life, or any conditions that life may present to you or nature may bring to you. You will survive that with the treasure of adaptability. You will not get stuck there. You will not crimp. You will not cry. You will not complain. You will not blame. But move on by being adaptable. Adaptability is very, very, very great virtue. Adjusting, adapting, moving like water. If you cannot adapt, that water will be stuck and get stagnant and will be full of germs and worms if we don't adapt. If there's a rock in front of us, move through it, navigate through it. You should know how to navigate through it. Rather than saying that, why did that rock come in front of me? I was moving so freely. Why did that rock had to come in front of me and stop me and obstruct me? No rock should come in front of me. Why? Just because it's you? Just because you want to move forward freely, happily? No rocks should come in front of you? Even if a rock comes in front of you, obstructs you, move through it, move around it. Be adaptable. Navigate through it. So that is what is adaptability, which is the power of intelligence. How do you intelligently navigate through the process? It's called adaptability. And Tolkien gives a very beautiful example over here. I and my father were hiking through the open fields, and they saw a huge fallen tree. The father said, let us think why this tree has fallen. He said, because of the strong wind we had last week. And the father says, that is true, but you see this little bush which is only 2 feet high stands here and laughs at the tree. Why didn't the strong wind wipe it away? The father says. And Tolkien, he says, I could not find the answer. I thought of many reasons but was not sure. And we walked away without solving the problem. And 2 or 3 hours later, we were in front of a great stone building. Father, looking at the stone, said, the builder was a great man. Look how the stones fit each other. He had a great sense of how to adapt things. And then when my father uttered the word adapt with a strange emphasis, I caught the word in his mind and thought he was hinting at something. Then looking at me, he repeated, those who adapt survive. The bush, I exclaimed. Yes, you got it, the father said. After a long silence, he asked, why did the bush fall down under the strong wind? And Torkham said, because it bent. Yes, it adapted itself to the situation, and when the wind was over, it stood again. Ah, I found it. And the father says, yes, you did. And sure, this lesson will be part of your nature. Adaptability. Bend when it's necessary. Stand up when it's right. And Torkham goes on to say, I had great fun with this story. And the next day when I was playing with my friends, I told them about the fallen tree and the standing bush. How come? They asked. Well, the huge wind came, and because the big tree had a big pride, it said, I will stand against you. And the wind knocked him down. But the little bush said, my goodness, God is blowing 80 to 90 miles per hour. Let me lie down. And when the wind passed, it stood up and said, goodbye, my friend. And so his friends were very impressed with this story. So adaptability is the ability to take advantage of any adverse situation without being the slave of the condition. In adaptability, a person breaks many crystallizations, stands in his spiritual being, and cooperates with karmic laws. You don't go against karma. You don't say, oh rock, why did you come in front of me? That is your karma. You don't go against your karma, but you have to cooperate with the karmic laws. You can't say, oh, why did this problem come to me? It should not come to me. Problems come to you because of your karmic interactions. But you cooperate with it. You learn from it. You be kind to yourself. And adaptability opens many highways of success and builds bridges of cooperation. So how adaptable are you in your life with situations, with conditions, when karma faces you? With your crystallized thought forms, crystallized belief systems, with your one-track mind. Are you standing in your spiritual being or mental being or emotional being or physical being? What are you? Which being are you? Which being are you practicing to be? The next one is forgiveness, my dear friends. Forgiveness. Forgiveness disperses the tense areas from which many negative forces emerge. And through forgiveness, you will be able to save your subtle vehicles from great damage. Great damage. Is there anyone in your life whom you cannot forgive, or if you have not forgiven? And when one does not forgive, he creates some kind of ulcers or abscesses in his subtle vehicles which continually poison his system and eventually knock down the physical body. Forgiveness is a health-giving substance in the subtle bodies. And we need to understand the situation where we are unable to forgive others. When we have a huge ego, we cannot forgive others. When we are an egoistic person, we cannot forgive others. So we need to work on our ego, then start forgiving everyone in our life. That person damaged me. That person cheated me. That when that me goes off, forgiveness happens effortlessly. Let go of the me, then forgiveness happens beautifully. In a flow. It happens gracefully. Forgiveness. Remove the me and you will be able to forgive. As long as you do not remove the me, you will not be able to forgive. And in order to be physically healthy, you need to forgive. It's as simple as that. And it is true that one can encourage criminals by forgiving them. And it is also true that people may think it is because of your weaknesses that you forgive. And still others may think that you are forgiving with ulterior motives. No one can argue about such possibilities. But still we can exercise forgiveness in our families and in our social and business circles. And people think that most of the things they do to hurt us are conscious, deliberate and planned. Whereas the truth is that we hurt people more often unconsciously than consciously. We go on a hurting spree, hurting marathon. We hurt each and every person that comes in our way without realizing how our words, our thoughts, our emotions, our being is affecting others. And once we are done hurting with everyone, when we come to our senses, that is when we realize that, oh my God, I hurt so many people. That is why meditation is very important, so that we are conscious of what we are doing, what we are saying, what we are thinking, what we are doing. That is why meditation is very important, so that we become a conscious being rather than a mechanical being. Unconscious to conscious. And a revengeful attitude creates friction, animosity, and psychological turbulences. And hatred and revenge waste your energy. No matter how much meditation you do, if you are going to waste your energy, there is no use of doing meditation. What good is it if you draw up water from a well and you're going to put it in the drainage? You're not using that water properly. You're just wasting that water, putting into the drainage, into waste. There's no purpose in drawing the water from the well. Hatred and revenge waste your energy, your money, and your time. And forgiveness is a method to save energy, money, and time. So you have two choices now. What do you choose is very, very, very important. Every time you have a choice, either to forgive or to keep hating and spending time, money, and energy to take revenge on that person. If that defines your purpose of life, go ahead with that. And if you don't think that hatred and revenge is the purpose of life, forgive. Don't be an obstacle to yourself. Don't be an obstacle to your own abundance. The first obstacle that we create is ourselves. And forgiveness does not mean acceptance. Forgiveness means not to have involvement either physically or psychologically. And forgiveness is like putting money in your savings account, and revenge is creating debts, which you need to pay later with taxes, with interest. And those who forgive will be forgiven. The great Lord revealed a great law through this statement. Those who forgive will be forgiven. And Tolkien says that one of my teachers used to say, every time you forgive, increase your alertness 10 times so that the one who is forgiven does not take advantage of your forgiveness. This is called being intelligent. Be very, very, very careful. Be very conscious that the one who is forgiven does not take advantage of you, of your forgiveness. Be alert, be conscious, be aware, mentally and emotionally. So then what about if he does take advantage? Asked one of the boys. He said, again, he must be forgiven. No one will take advantage of you if you are not karmically indebted to him. Remember this point, please. No one can take advantage of you if you are not karmically indebted to that person. You might complain that in your life that somebody used you, somebody took advantage of you. Why? Because you are karmically indebted to that person. Forgiveness is a great treasure, and only the spiritually rich know how to use this treasure. That is why it flows from above, not from below. And magnetism, the next virtue, the next emotional virtue is called magnetism. Magnetism is developed when the love energy from the intuitional plane fuses with astral substance. And such magnetism attracts the right person, the right objects, and the right money which helps you to have abundance. How do you become magnetic? Because you're spiritually rich. When you're a spiritually rich person, you will attract the right things in your life. Because you're one with your intuitional plane. What is intuitional plane? Is nothing but your heart. And love comes from your heart. Love is a language of your intuition, and it is all heart. And you become magnetic. You cultivate magnetism through your heart. And that is how you attract the right things in your lives. The choice is yours now. Do you want to attract the right things, or do you want to attract the wrong things? What do you want in your life? So in order to attract the right things in your life, you need to be connected to your heart. You need to be magnetic in your heart. How? By being pure, by being loving, by being kind, by being compassionate, by being generous, doing sacrificial service, having the patience and understanding of cause and effect and everything else, the laws of nature. That is how you become magnetic. And it is known that sometimes you accidentally meet the right person who introduces the greatest change in your life or opens the greatest path for success. And things come to magnetic persons even without them demanding it. It is effortless. It just happens to you. It's very, very effortless when you become magnetic. Everything is just a beautiful flow of events and conditions because you have cultivated your heart. And the next one is generosity. So generosity prepares an abundant harvest for everyone, right, dear friends? Totcom says that once we were in the mountains and we came to a lake, I turned to my teacher and said, "This lake smells. What is causing it?" The teacher says, "It smells bad because it does not receive and it does not give." Generosity. Our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual abundance can only exist when we continuously receive and continuously give. We must use or put into use our money so that we increase it and give it to those who need it. Generosity creates a circulation of the energy of prosperity. It keeps your prosperity abundance in motion, in movement, giving and receiving, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. I replace the word taking to receiving. You do not take anything, you receive something. You offer and you receive. You offer and you receive. Taking is different from receiving, my dear friends. Isn't it? You don't give and take. You offer and you receive. That is what is generosity. Replace give and take with offering and receiving. This is your next exercise, my dear friends. Replace give and take with offering and receiving. You offer something. You don't give anything. That there's nothing yours to give. You just offer your gifts. You offer yourself. You offer your services. And you receive whatever is coming to you. As simple as that. Offer and receive instead of give and take. So generosity creates circulation of the energy of prosperity. And through generosity, one can melt many crystallizations in his emotional nature and make his nature flowing, vibrant, healthy. And disciples in the world must learn how to make honest money so that they help those who are coming into the world to create one humanity and one world. Are you a disciple? What are you coming into this world for? Are you here to create one world, or are you here to create your own world, your own separatistic world? Are you a disciple of spirituality, of abundance? Are you making honest money? And that is another question that we need to ask ourselves as an exercise. Are we making honest money? Is every rupee, every dollar, every pound that we make, is it honest? All right? So generosity, joy, and the right motive must always go together. And if you give a gift to a person and he uses it in some way or another, every time he remembers you. And energy comes to you. That is receiving. Energy comes to you. That is receiving. Isn't it? So if you gave the gift with the wrong motive, with rejection or with negative emotions, every time his energy is projected to you and it brings back to you the emotional thought attached to the gift. So what you give is what you receive. What you offer is what you receive. This is the perfect example. You will receive what you offer. What you offer is what you receive. It can be the energy. It can be anything. It doesn't mean that only objects or help or anything. The energy matters. And every time he remembers you because of the gift, he absorbs your negative energy. Because that is the intention, that is the wrong motive that you have given the gift to that person. That he absorbs your negative energy. And who all are you affecting? You are affecting yourself and the other person as well by doing something with the wrong motive. And through your gift, you create a communication line between you and the one who receives your gift. And if you are giving a gift to an advanced soul with joy and great love, every time he remembers you, you will receive joy and love and healing power. And every time he remembers you, your love and joy will stream forth into his aura. See how beautiful it is if we can do that. With what energy do you give gifts to others? And that is why gifts are very important, but they must be given in the right spirit and received with joy and gratitude. Generosity is giving with joy and pure motive. Let this get underlined in your dictionary, in your book. Generosity is giving with joy and pure motive. And generosity is higher than teaching. Teaching is a forced process. And if you join this or that church, you must give so much to that church or organization. That is not generosity. So you feel forced, obliged, you feel resistance. And sometimes you do not even want to give, but various kinds of pressure makes you give. And whatever is not given freely, with right motive, with joy and generosity, is not accepted as a gift. And Tolkien goes on saying, I remember a man who came to our center and he put a big sum of money in the collection plate. Okay? 2 days later after the meeting, I called into my office and said, it seems to me that you have suddenly become generous. Okay? And then he says, he said, I am doing good business. Tolkien asked, what are you doing? Then he says, I don't think you should ask. Just accept what I am giving to you for the group. And Tolkien says, is it pure money? No, money is pure, he says. Then he says, I don't agree with you. How are you making your money? Then he said, I am selling opium. Opium is a drug, my dear friends. They are drugs. Opium? Tolkien says, yes, I do not use it. I just sell it to those who need it. My God, I do not want that money, Tolkien says. He says, don't be crazy. It's my money. I'm giving it to you. I put all his money in an envelope and gave it back to him. And the next day he called me and said he was leaving the city. What kind of money are you receiving? Money must not be accepted as a gift if it is not pure money. And this is very, very, very difficult to assess. Money must not be accepted as a gift if it is not pure money. And generosity must be extended with joy, with pure motive and with pure money. And remember, Judas took the silver to the temple and threw it away, although it was too late. Generosity, that is a treasure. The next treasure is cheerfulness. Cheerfulness keeps the dance of the circulatory flow moving on in man and in the universe. Cheerfulness should not be only on your lips. It has to be coming from inside. Only when it's coming from inside are you considered a cheerful person. And cheerfulness inspires confidence and trust. Cheerfulness keeps the body young and healthy. Cheerfulness makes you think clearly and with no self-interest. A cheerful person likes to give and to receive. Are you a cheerful person? Do you bring cheer to yourself and to others? Like truly, really, from your heart. There's no chance to fake here. There's nothing fake here. This is all real. This is all pure. Coming straight from your heart. Cheerfulness is very, very important. It's a treasure. Are you a cheerful person? From the bottom of your heart. So cheerfulness makes people see beyond their petty personality attachments and problems. Cheerfulness brings success. Do you want to meet a person or be with a person who is cheerful, or do you want to be or meet a person who is sad? Who would you choose to be with? Of course, you want to be with a cheerful person. So are you being cheerful? Are you a magnetic person in that way? If the husband is cheerful, the wife is happy. If the mother is cheerful, the baby is healthy. If both father and mother are cheerful, they have a successful family. Their children have better health, better endurance, and better morality. And their intellectual powers will be superior to the intellects of the children, whose homes are full of fights and gloom. How is your family atmosphere? Fights, sadness, gloom, or cheerfulness? Enthusiasm, joy, happiness. Are you cheerful from inside, first of all? So in the future, my dear friends, investigations will show that cheerful parents give humanity the most beautiful, helpful, healthy, and creative children. So this goes for the teenagers and the children of now, of today, that you become a cheerful person so that you bring down to this earth creative children, beautiful children, helpful and healthy children. What kind of children do you want to bring to this earth? Depends on the training given to children at a very young age, so that they become cheerful and they are prepared completely when they're about to give birth to a beautiful person. That is why meditation is very important at a very young age. And Patriji stresses a lot on children doing meditation so that they build the treasure within themselves, and when they are ripe, they give birth to a beautiful soul on this earth. An inclination towards crime develops when children are deprived of the joy and cheerfulness of their parents. You might want to remember your own childhood or maybe the childhood of others. When you are deprived of the joy and cheerfulness, irritation happens in the child. There's a feeling of betrayal, hurt, pain, animosity, hatred. All these feelings come when joy and cheerfulness are not, are being deprived of them. And then we come to the next treasure of our emotional body, which is called as silence. Silence creates the power and sharp observation, and it clears the aura from the effects of many unnecessary words and expressions. It protects a person from many traps, and most of our traps are produced by the most harmful weapon that we have is our tongue. And silence creates a holy vacuum to which divine creative energies are attracted. And these emotional treasures make our life an unending succession of joy and abundance. Silence, my dear friends. Being emotionally silent sometimes. Not being turbulent, but being calm and stable and steady. It really clears out the aura from the effects of many unnecessary words and expressions. If I say, I don't like you, then are you being silent in your emotions? If I say, you're an idiot, are you being silent in your emotions? How do my words and my expressions affect your emotional body? Silence. When we are not silent in, getting affected by others' words and expressions, we trap ourselves. They're called self-made traps. And how do we trap ourselves? By using the tongue and not choosing to be silent. But at the same time, I would not like to ask you to suppress your emotions. You need to express it, but how? How do you express yourself? You always have a choice. Do you want to express yourself beautifully or not? So, my dear friends, we are done with the emotional treasures. These are the 12 emotional treasures that we have. All right. And then we say that when a person is spiritually in abundance, when he's mentally in abundance, and when he's emotionally in abundance, then and only then will all the abundance of the self manifest itself to make a person a dispenser of riches to meet the needs of humanity. And this abundance manifests as the following. This is physical abundance, which we all want. There's not a single person on this earth that doesn't want this. All right? So this is physical abundance, and let me tell you a little bit more about this physical abundance. So when you gain your physical prosperity because of spiritual, mental, and emotional prosperity, you enjoy every bit of your physical life and its blessings. Life will lead you into the right position, and you will have the right contacts with people who will increase your joy and help you to bloom. You will have the property that you need in order to tender your service and enjoy your life. You will have the needed money, which will give you the chance to meet your needs and not be trapped in excess worries and headaches. Your health will be excellent. Life after life, you will develop golden health until you reach the state of immortality. Life after life, my dear friends, not just this life, every life you would be in great health. Isn't that a great blessing? Why do we go for temporary things rather than permanent things? Why is temporary so interesting and permanent so boring? You will have great friends who will grow and unfold with you and serve with you. Life after life. Let's look for the long run, long distance. You will have wonderful co-workers who, inspired from higher forces, will join you in your heroic effort to bring beauty to earth. You will have the right food, the right water, and karma will make you have them. And you will have the needed furniture and everything which will help you to relax, to work, and to enjoy life. You will have the right tools to manifest and express your talents or creative ideas. You will have the needed instruments and create your dreams, to play your music and sing your songs. You will have a wonderful partner and children who will bring honor to you and be sources of joy for you. You will have successors who will carry your torch of honesty and nobility, who will continue your service, and who will enjoy all that you will leave them. It is a great blessing to have successors who will continue to walk in the light of God for the service of humanity. And such a person is the most joyful and rich person in the world. And behind many prosperity moments, there is the beast of matter controlling their plans and tactics. Prosperity is the curse of humanity when it is taken as material prosperity. Such prosperity sheds the blood of millions and will shed the blood of many, many more millions if spiritual prosperity is not cultivated and if the life of the human being is not balanced on the right scale. And the greatest evil for a person is the moment that is blinded by his material prosperity and is ready for every kind of crime to keep that prosperity flowing. And those who are creating an intense desire and a violent urge toward worldly possessions and money may be called the coffin builders, who are going to bury your soul in matter for ages and darken the eye of our spirit. That concludes today's session, my dear.